Okay, to find real zeros, what we do is we're going to set our function equal to 0. So we got x times x plus 2 squared equal to 0. Now this is already factored, so I can set each factor equal to 0. I'll set the x equal to 0, and I'll set the x plus 2 equal to 0. So that gives us x equals 0, and x is equal to negative 2. Now these are our zeros. Now let's talk about our multiplicity. Multiplicity is whatever's power is on here. This negative 2 had a power of 2. Now the x didn't have a power, but if we were to put a power there, it would be the first power. Now when your multiplicity is 2, that means it's touching the x-axis, and we'll talk more about that. If it's 1, that means it's crossing. Now they're talking about a sign. So if I look at negative 2, which is right here, and if I look at x equals 0, it's right here. Now these split them up in intervals, like this. Clear over here is negative infinity, clear over here is positive infinity. So this first one's going from negative infinity to negative 2, then negative 2 to 0, and then 0 to positive infinity. Now if I pick test cases, something between negative infinity and negative 2, it doesn't matter what, let me pick negative 3. Something between negative 2 and 0, doesn't matter what, let's say negative 1. And something greater than 0, like 1 or 2 or something. Now we're going to take these, we're going to plug them in to our original function and see if it gives us a positive or negative. So if I plug in negative 3, remember this a of x is y. So we got y is equal to negative 3 times negative 3 plus 2 squared. Negative 3 plus 2 is negative 1. Negative 1 squared is 1. So we got negative 3 times 1, which is negative. So this is going to be negative. Now if I plug in the next one, x equals negative 1. Let me label those better. This was x equals negative 3. And if I plug in x equals negative 1, I'm going to get y is equal to, and I'll put negative 1 everywhere I have an x. So I got negative 1 times negative 1 plus 2 squared. Negative 1 plus 2 squared, negative 1 plus 2 is 1. 1 squared is 1. And this is going to give me a negative. Now if I plug in x equals 1, again, we'll plug that into our function up here. I got y is equal to 1 times 1 plus 2 squared. Now 1 plus 2 is 3. 3 squared is 9 times 1 is 9, which is positive. Now negative means it's below the x-axis, and positive means it's above the x-axis. Okay, so let's take that information. See how we can graph this. Now we set our zeros are negative 2, which is right here, and 0, which is right here. We said it's touching at negative 2, and it's crossing here. Well, knowing that it's below here, then I know my graph's below. So it's coming up, touching at a point like this, turning around, coming back down, at some point it's turning back around because it has to come up here and cross. Now that's a very rough sketch. We would have to plot more points to actually get a more precise, because I don't know, for example, how far this comes down. And also then what kind of angles right here. If it's closer to the y-axis or further out or what, I don't know. But that gives you an idea what those are used for.